Welcome back to Perkins Pipes. Got the Purdue hat on because we're going to be talking about, well, Purdue University, but something much bigger than just one particular university. Got the gorgeous RBC meerschaum, the 100-year-old meerschaum that my friend Jeremy gave me. Absolutely love this pipe. It's just beautiful, but it's also such a nice big smoke as well. Why do I have a piece of art like this? Well, we're going to be talking about art again, not graphic art, but musical, classical music to be precise. So as always, let's get this guy lit. Let's get to talking. Very nice indeed. So if you've been following this channel, you know that our children, our son graduated from Purdue University earlier in 2024, and our daughter is currently a student there. Despite the fact that my wife and I are both graduates of Indiana University, and of course there's the big rivalry between those two schools. One of the things that Purdue does is to host what they call a presidential lecture series. And I'll have scholars and people who are accomplished in various fields come to talk in one of their auditoriums on campus. And recently we had a chance to go to one of those. And the guest was none other than world-renowned cellist Yo-Yo Ma. And I want to talk about two things. Yeah, two things. We'll talk about two things with regard to this interview with Yo-Yo Ma. And the president of the university, I want to start off with the president of the university, a fellow named Meng Chang. And his background is in engineering. I think it's electrical engineering. Purdue is a world-renowned engineering school. It's world-renowned for being a place where many astronauts, American astronauts, have studied their astronautical engineering. My mother's two brothers, Sam and Bob, both graduated from there. My Uncle Bob graduated with a degree in electrical engineering, and my Uncle Sam got a degree in mechanical engineering. And these were both back in the 1950s. And Purdue is very much known as a STEM school. And you heard that expression, STEM, many times, I'm sure, in recent years. It's become a popular acronym: science, technology, engineering, mathematics. STEM. We talk about the STEM fields and all this sort of thing. And it became a point of contention, though, for some people, because it seemed that so much emphasis was being placed on STEM. People started talking about, well, what about the liberal arts? How do they fit in? What about history? What about languages, musical art, graphic art, all the other things that are not your math and science subjects? And I have to say, Purdue has done a wonderful job of really trying to incorporate all of that together, and really the idea of a university, to borrow the name from John Henry Cardinal Newman's book, The Idea of a University, it's kind of a universe, right, unto itself, and you've got a little bit of everything there. Different from a trade school, right? It serves a different purpose. So I was very impressed when the president of this predominantly STEM university, himself an engineer, the opening words out of President Chang's mouth I remember this. It was it was powerful. He walks up to the podium, and the first words out of his mouth, he says, "Art is the soul of a university." Wow, what a great opening. What a great way to introduce this world-class musician with Yo-Yo Ma. But considering the broader concept that art is the soul of a university, then I would agree. And I think it's true for society at large. What can you say about art? Again, when I say art, I mean it all. I mean the graphic and the musical and the dramatic. The arts, you could say. We communicate through art in a different way from just conversation. You communicate through math as well. You communicate through science. But you communicate in a different way through art. Art, I think, connects us to something transcendent, something beyond the immediate moment and place that we are in. I think art serves a pontifical nature. When you hear that word pontifical, you may be thinking, "Well, he's talking about the Pope, right? He's talking about Catholicism." No, the word pontifex, from which we get the adjective pontifical, comes from two Latin words: pons plus facio facere. It literally means to build a bridge. So technically, the word pontifex, which becomes the word pontiff, and we do think about that with regard to the Pope, is a bridge builder, right? That's what a priest does. A priest bridges two worlds, the human world and the divine. Art serves that as well. Art serves that function as well. Sometimes connecting us from the human to the divine, sometimes connecting us more horizontally, one person with another, one culture with another, one time period with another. Art connects us with ourselves. Makes us realize things about ourselves that we didn't realize before, takes us to another time and place in our own lives, helps us deal with pain, helps us deal with tragedy. Art's a way to help us celebrate and mark moments. Art is the gateway that ushers us into what is larger than we are. And again, the transcendent. Hence, I say the pontifical nature of art. So I was absolutely impressed that President Chang said that. He says, art is the soul of a university. And then there was a fellow from PBS NewsHour, and I've forgotten his name. I'll have to look that up when I put the show notes together, who then actually did the interview with Yo-Yo Ma. And they talked for a while, and then Yo-Yo Ma would get up with his cello, he'd play a little bit, sit back down, they'd talk a little bit, he'd get up and play some more, and so forth. In fact, we're going to share a little bit of that with you at the end of the video, so be sure you stick around to the end. I've got just a little bit of some video that I took of Yo-Yo Ma playing. You don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss that. He's just world class. You most likely know his name. There was a moment, though, as he was playing a piece. And, of course, whatever he played, I think he played maybe 3 or 4 pieces across the course of the lecture, or the interview. Really wasn't a lecture, but it was an interview. And, of course, auditorium just absolutely silent, absolutely riveted as we are watching this master of his instrument play. What really got me, though, was the silence at the end of one of his pieces. he'd played, and it was so emotional. Not in the sense of everybody's breaking down weeping, not that sort of emotion, but it touched you in your deep heart's core, as William Butler Yeats would say in his poem "The Lake Isle of Innisfree." Indeed, as President Chang said, art being the soul of the university, the music touched us deeply in the soul. And I do think there's a tendency in some audiences, certainly some American audiences, for the moment that somebody finishes something on stage, immediately jump to your feet, start applauding, going crazy. Yeah, all right. That didn't happen. We were caught in the moment, and there were a few moments of silence. And the silence was part of the music. The silence was part of Yo-Yo Ma's performance. In that moment, we entered into that performance with him. We entered into that music with him by extending and sharing our silence with him. The silence was part of the music. And it wasn't as if he had said, everybody stay silent for 5 seconds after I finish. He didn't say that. And nobody had to be told when that moment was finished for us to break into applause. We somehow knew. We sensed it. We felt it. We knew it by means of feeling. And I was really struck by that. I made a note about it because I wanted to record an episode about it. The silence was part of the music. It was part of the moment. And I think most musicians of any caliber will talk about space, the space that is needed in and around and with music. It's not just a whole bunch of notes on a piece of paper. They're them being played by a particular instrument or being sung by the human voice. The space is important. The silence is important. It can underscore. It can intrigue. It can serve as a transition from one movement or moment to the next. It can, well, again, using the word transcend. Silence, it allows a breathing space. Space for the music to breathe, a space for you to breathe and to process, not in an analytical way, but to process in a soulish way what's going on. And I do think that's something that we, as who enjoy pipes, know very, very well. We know that value of silence. We've talked about it on this channel. So many pipe channels will talk about it. But I wanted to make that connection with that piece of music. So, I'll ask my questions that I always do. I'll give you my usual closing. And then we'll have this little clip here from Yo-Yo Ma. So talk to us. Do you know Yo-Yo Ma's music? Do you have any favorite pieces of his? What is your experience with silence and music? And the role that silence plays as really, again, a part of the music. What do you think about that idea? As Malcolm Guite likes to say, I do these little things in order at last to do nothing. Or as I like to say in Latin, Parva ago ut tandem, nihil agam. Have a wonderful day.